In this presentation, we will look at management practices that can help mitigate the impact of heat stress on turf. The primary symptoms associated with heat stress or accentuated with high temperatures is wear or traffic injury. Symptoms often result in a thinning or loss of turf. Heat stress symptoms often manifest themselves through association with other stresses like moisture. Practices that help reduce the impact of heat stress on the turf include raising the height of cut. The impact of a higher cut is to increase the wear tolerance of the turf and reduce heat buildup at the soil surface. The heat load is much higher at lower heights of cut than at higher heights. A high heat buildup often results in a thinning of the turf. Mowing is a daily practice that potentially causes wear injury to the turf. During periods of high temperatures, minimize the frequency of mowing. For example, if double cutting is a standard practice, reduce the frequency to single cutting. In addition, avoid mowing during the middle of the day. One means of reducing wear or injury from mowing during summer heat periods is switching from grooved rollers to solid rollers prior to the heat stress period. Solid rollers reduce the chance for scalping and cause less wear to the turf. At this golf course, they made makeshift solid rollers for their fairway units. They took a PVC pipe that was the diameter of the grooved roller and slid it over the roller. Most golf courses, especially on fairway units, will stay with grooved rollers throughout the year. Most often, front rollers are changed from grooved to smooth for greens mowing. More common now are mowing units for greens that have a flex head that will move over contours of a green more smoothly, reducing the chance for scalp and cause less wear than a fixed head cutting unit. Although not easily identifiable in this photograph, this is a fixed head mower that is more often used on relatively level or flat surfaces where the potential for scalping undulations is not a high risk. In this case, this mower is being used for tee mowing. Minimize repetitive mowing patterns like cleanup passes on putting greens. Stagger or periodically skip these types of mowing activities to minimize wear during high temperatures. Also slow down the mower during cleanup passes. This will help reduce the potential for sliding or skidding around tight turns. Protect the turf in potentially high wear areas caused by mowing. In this case, protective movable plastic sheets are used to cover the collar to protect it from the turning action of the mower. Originally, pieces of plywood were used. Various types and designs of collar protecting turning boards are available. During periods of high temperatures, disperse traffic, whether golfers, golf carts, or maintenance equipment. Concentration of wear can cause significant turf decline. In this case, golfers enter and exit this green at one point, resulting in a concentration of traffic that has resulted in turf loss. You can see the same effect on campus. This Kentucky bluegrass turf is suffering summer heat stress, with the symptoms being expressed as a loss of wear tolerance in the turf. Students have used this as a shortcut to the parking garage, creating a traffic concentrated pathway. Reduce the frequency and intensity of mechanical practices like verticutting, especially on greens, and grooming during stress periods. During stress periods, some golf courses try reducing the frequency of mowings by substituting in a speed rolling. Speed rolling causes less stress to the turf than a mowing and still provides the desired putting green speed. Given that under high temperature stress the turf is not growing very much, the need for cutting can be foregone and replaced with a roll. The difficulty of trying to reduce heat stress or wear stress from daily mowing and rolling practices is difficult when trying to deliver quality fast greens. Here is a chart I created a few years ago of what some of the golf courses in the Columbus area were doing with regard to mower types, frequency, cutting height, and rolling during summer stress periods. In some cases, rolling was replacing a mowing or two during the week. A number of combinations exist to try to minimize stress. In the comment column, you may notice the term spot roll or target rolls. In these cases, only a portion around the cup location area is being rolled. In these cases, they are trying to avoid rolling the entire green. Avoid heavy top dressing during periods of high temperatures. Sand left on the canopy can increase canopy temperature significantly. In this figure, a heavy sand top dressing treatment was applied and left on the turf. In the second treatment, the sand was removed in the sense it was worked into the turf and the remainder blown off. And the final treatment had no sand applied. Leaving a heavy sand application on the turf can increase the canopy temperature by over 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Light, frequent top dressing during the summer would be recommended and actually be beneficial in providing a firm surface for actually mowing the green to reduce the potential for scalp. Greens that have significant organic matter and growth can become puffy in the summer, enhancing the scalping tendency. Top dressing helps prevent this situation. This golf course is in Kenya, and you can notice the scalping that has occurred on this green. Before leaving top dressing, I would like to say light top dressing doesn't mean using fine sand particle sizes. This worker, pretty amazingly, is top dressing a fairway with too fine a sand. It is like a dust and blows like a dust. Turf that is in an open area benefits more from transpirational cooling than an enclosed area. In areas where air circulation is restricted, fans have been installed to promote air movement and thus transpirational cooling. Proper installation can enhance air movement and reduce canopy temperatures 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Generally, a wind speed across the turf around 4 to 5 miles per hour is desired. In this photograph, locate the fan, which is behind the flagstick. Notice the distance from the fan that the turf is still green compared to the dying turf in the foreground. The oscillating fan has created a semicircle of comparably healthy turf compared to the remaining green that is not impacted by the fan. An additional option would be to remove all the underlying vegetation and some of the trees to provide more air movement across this green. Proper turf watering is critical during periods of heat stress. Adequate water allows for transpirational cooling by the turf. Too little water and the turf suffers moisture stress injury. Too much water can cause turf injury during periods of heat stress. As is occurring here, the turf is thinning, and in this case, algae has formed on this green. One practice for cooling the turf is called syringing. Syringing is a light application of water for the purpose of preventing wilt and supplying water for transpirational cooling. Syringing is often done during periods of heat stress for the following reasons. Research at Auburn University has found syringing effects are most effective at temperatures above 90 degrees Fahrenheit on sunny, low humidity days, and where root systems are restricted and where moisture deficits are likely to occur. In conclusion, we have suggested some cultural practices that may help minimize the impact of heat stress on high-maintenance turf systems. The greatest impact from these practices comes from integrating many of them together during high-temperature stress periods.